La gente lo pidió, así que vamos por encima. Cúlpame a mí si se explota la bocina. Esto es un perreo de Cepaya Marquesina. Y si te quedas sentada, te perreo hasta en la silla. Pero tranquila mami, yo tengo tu medicina. Un perreito light, vitamina. Ponte a sudar.
Dímelo Corillo, bienvenido a otro episodio, contenido exclusivo de YouTube de Podium Podcast. Este es Corti de Waiting Game. Y hoy tengo excelente entrevista. Estaba loco por poder hacer esto. Porque yo siempre estoy hablando verdaderamente pues, de la selección, obviamente atletas de la selección de Puerto Rico que representan a Puerto Rico todos los días, pero yo creo que toma más a un atleta que pues no nació aquí en Puerto Rico, pero obviamente tiene familia puertorriqueña y se sienten puertorriqueños y salen de los compromisos que siempre están haciendo para representar a nuestra isla. Así que tengo excelente entrevista el día de hoy. No sin antes recuerden suscribirse al canal de YouTube de Podium Podcast. Vayan a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, denle like, denle share. Tremendo contenido que estamos subiendo estos últimos días. Tenemos a Uri Cruz, Jaime Espinal, un sinnúmero de gente el día de hoy. Tenemos a esta gran corredora que nos está representando en 100 metros con valla internacionalmente. Nos representó ya en las Olimpiadas 2016 y nos representa ahora en las Tokio 2021, la gran JASMINE Camacho-QUINN. JASMINE, how you doing? Welcome to the Podium Podcast.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, very good. Thank you for your time. I know you are in all this going on to go to Tokyo, so I appreciate your time. JASMINE representa a Puerto Rico, ya está. She's working her in Spanish. So we're gonna go in English today. So, just bear with us, okay? Good. JASMINE, how you feeling right now? Are we're about to go to Tokyo 2021. You've been in the Olympics already. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. But you already been in that stage. This is your second time looking for that medal. How are you feeling right now, JASMINE?
Right now I feel great. Like I feel very confident. After last weekend, it's been a roller coaster since Rio. So I'm actually really excited just to be able to get back out there, wear my uniform, and represent.
Great, that's awesome, and we really honored that you're representing Puerto Rico. You're doing it great. You're going back. This new chapter of athleticism in Puerto Rico is going great. And you with the 100-meter hurdles, you're killing it. But before we start, I want you to introduce to our audience. I know you represent Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. You weren't born here in Puerto Rico, so we want you to know a little bit about where you're from and how you started on this amazing sports of 100-meter hurdles.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Charleston, South Carolina. I've been around the Camacho side of the family growing up, so I know I'm a Camacho side. Just with my mom growing up and things like that, she moved to the States. Her father moved to the States.
Okay.
He left Puerto Rico and moved to the States, and when she was 9, she moved from Puerto Rico and went to the States with her father.
Okay.
So that's the Camacho side, of course. Right. So in 2016, when I decided to run for Puerto Rico, which was news to me. I didn't know how anything worked with track or
right. That's super awesome because you decided to run for Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. So I want to know. That's another question I have. How do you decided to go? You know what? I'm gonna go represent Puerto Rico. You can do it with the U.S., but you decided to go with Puerto Rico. Wow, how you did that?
I didn't know that I could. My college coach, he told me I could. He was like, "Wait, your mom is from Puerto Rico?" I said, "Yeah, born and raised. Like she's from there." He's like, "You can represent Puerto Rico." I said, "I can." Like I didn't know anything. Like I just knew to just get on the line and run. That's all I knew. I didn't know I didn't know about an Olympic standard. I didn't know about how to represent any country at all.
Right.
So I would have done that in high school if I knew.
Right.
And so once he told me that, I was like, sure, like, why not run for Puerto Rico? It was just like, I just seen it was just, I don't know. I really never seen too many Puerto Rican athletes out there competing in track and field. You know, it was only a handful, and I was like, this is a part of me as well. And you know, it's just go run for Puerto Rico. I talked to my mom about it, especially. My mom wanted me to. She was like, represent Puerto Rico, and you know, Puerto Ricans is take pride. Definitely take pride.
Of course, yeah.
She was excited. I was like, yeah, like I'm all for it. Like I made that decision in March of 2016. Yeah, I made that decision, and I was like, let's go. Like that's when I really started learning more though about how making teams and learning about standards and things like that. So that was just all like me learning still, but also going through with the process and everything.
Did you so of course you came big to Puerto Rico, like we needed someone to actually fill that spot that you came and started, you know, Puerto Rico, that when you get in the 2016 Olympics. How you felt when you have the backup of the people of Puerto Rico that never heard of you before? I mean, there's a lot of people, of course, who follow sports and knew about you, but the majority of the island they didn't know about Jasmine till 2016, that you start making noise. They're like, okay, hold on, we got someone that is representing Puerto Rico in the 100 meters on hurdles, and there you come. How you felt when the people of Puerto Rico had your back?
It was like, it was a great feeling. It was just welcome with open arms, you know. And I know, like, I'm not the only athlete that deals with it, but you know, like athletes, like if we're born in the States but our parents are from the islands or another country, you know, there's times we face like, oh, you weren't born here, and I'm like, I can't determine where I'm going to be born, like I can't do that. But you know, like definitely, like my mom let it be known, like, nah, my kids, like they got Puerto Rican in them, like this is like this. It's so like that, you know, it's not like I grew up not knowing anything. It was just trying to learn Spanish, and you know, my mom tried to teach it, but my father speaks only English, and everybody around me only speaks English. It doesn't get but so far. So that was just the only struggle right there, was with that. I just felt I felt accepted though. Like it was like, okay, this is I expected it, of course. Like, you know, with Puerto Ricans being like so loving. But just, I don't know. I guess like you just have to like experience it. I don't even know how to explain it. It was just really touching. Like, it was a good feeling.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, we always talk about it. I interview a lot of athletes. Let's say Walter Hodge, that he was born in Puerto Rico, never had the chance, but did the same thing. He went to play for another country, for the Virgin Islands, that who could play. So, you know, it's the same thing, but vice versa. Now someone from Puerto Rico is playing another one. And I was talking to him in the interview, and he said about, hey man, like Puerto Rico never hit me up. And like, hey man, I want you to play, even though he's so good, he went and played for another country. So we always talk about other Puerto Ricans 100% Puerto Ricans that they weren't born here. They just come and represent, and I think it's even greater that I have someone that want to represent my island, even though they weren't born here, but they feel Puerto Rican, they feel the pride and come and represent us, and I think that's great. Now, after you started the sports life back in the States, what made you? Because you know the athletics period is so big. And they just decided to go to 100-meter hurdles. That is a really hard race. So how you became a 100 meters runner with hurdles?
My dad was a hurdler in high school and college. and I was a gymnast for 8 years as it is. So when I seen hurdles, I'm like, this is something. It's not as dangerous as what gymnastics was, but
Right.
it's a challenge. And I asked my dad. I was like, can I try it? And I was in 7th grade. He was coaching the high school track. He just went out to help and things like that. Because my other brother, Miguel, he was running. So I was like, can I try it? It's like, yeah. And I just fell in love right then. I was like, I want to do this. And it was fun. It was fun. It was a fun learning process throughout like school. I didn't really start until like towards the end of my 8th grade year.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I kind of like got into it and was actually starting like to compete. And yeah, so it was really my dad, because he was a hurdler, and I kind of followed in his footsteps in a sense.
That's cool. That's really cool. I mean, I always say is that there's a lot of sports, like, Puerto Rico is always known for basketball, baseball, volleyball. That's what I always represented. Now with this new, I don't know, I think it's a new chapter of the athleticism pretty much in Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. We're getting into other sports like judo now with 100 different sports, like when what's his name, with the 400 meters hurdles.
Coulson?
Javier Coulson. So it was like we started getting medals and getting spotlight in different sports. Mm-hmm. When you actually, the first time you went to the Olympics, 2016, I mean, I always say every athlete, they want to represent their country, especially in that stage at the Olympics. Mm-hmm. But I think it's surreal until you get there. And that's every athlete that I interviewed before that went to the Olympics always tell me. How you felt when you went there representing Puerto Rico in that stage with, with people that you admire. Let's say you see LeBron James and you see other people that you admire, but you're in the same level because you're an Olympian right now. Mm-hmm. How you felt when you get there and saw those people?
Well, I wasn't really like starstruck or anything, because I have a brother in the NFL as it is. So like, it's just like, I don't know. It's just like, oh yeah, they're athletes too. They work, hard. I wasn't really like stuck.
Right, like tripping about it. Like, oh my God, look at him. Right, I want to take a picture.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't really like, starstruck over that at all. Because I'm like, nah, like I have literally, my opinion. My brother is like one of the best defensive ends in the league.
Right.
Definitely. So I was definitely like, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, let me,
I mean, plus what I say, you're already in that stage too. So mm-hmm. They probably see you with the same respect, even though we go crazy because the media and all that stuff. But they respect you, and that's what I was talking on the last week with another athlete, and he said, dude, I mean, I was there, I was impressed, like, what stage I'm at right now. But mm-hmm. I'm here too, so that means I'm top too, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's great. Mm-hmm. Jasmine, I know the Olympics are coming right now. What's next for you? Tell us about, I think last weekend you were in some competitions too, right?
Yes, I was in South Carolina.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that gets you ready. So what are you doing right now, and what's next for you in your career?
Well, I mean, I'm still competing. Olympics, that's just the biggest championship this year, but I'm still, this my career. So for right now, so I mean, I don't know, just competing right now and getting ready for Olympics. Of course, that's the biggest championship.
Do you have any upcoming event right now?
I compete Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, and then can you hear me?
Hold on. Yeah. Okay, I got you. It went for a minute. Okay, we're back. So yeah, okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. We're really, you know, getting into your career right now. I know you have a lot of things coming up, especially of course the Olympics that everyone's getting into it. So before we go, always in my interviews, I want to of course end in a good note, and this podcast is for that. You know, giving the opportunity for you guys to get your stories. So people, you know, young kids and stuff start seeing what you guys went through to actually being where you at right now. So I always say in this type of question, if you see your Jasmine from back in the days, 10 years old, what would you say to her in order for her to either go where you're at right now or maybe change something to get where you probably want to go?
What would I tell my 10-year-old self? Hey, sorry, my dog barking.
Oh, you're good. I want to talk to you.
Honestly, I don't even know what I would tell my 10-year-old self.
For real?
I don't, because you know, it's like I could always look back and be like, dang, I wish I didn't do this, or I wish I didn't do that. But then again, if I didn't go through certain situations in life, that wouldn't put me to where I'm at now.
Yep.
And I mean, what I would tell my 10-year-old self, you know, regarding school, like do your work and do what you need to do.
Of course.
You know, sports wise, it was all a journey. Like I had to learn, and you have to learn with, you know, experience.
Right.
And I definitely had to figure things out on my own. So, you know, it's chase your dreams, you know, but all that is just, that comes with it. It's each step at a time, you know. Yeah, that'll be the only thing I'll just tell myself then. It's just like,
yeah, I always say the same thing. I always say like there's no either good or bad experience. It's just experiences, and you have to go through it in order to, you know, to grow.
Yeah.
And so I always say the same thing. And like people like, you know, there's things like you maybe want to change because now, you know, with your expertise and you're mature enough, you know. But I always say the same thing. I think the same way you think. Every experience you have to go through in order to grow. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Jasmine, thank you very much. Best of luck to what's coming up for you. We want to see you in the Olympics and get that medal back to Puerto Rico. So best of luck again. Y gracias a todos los que nos vieron directamente hoy desde YouTube, de la página de Podium Podcast. Recuerden suscribirse, vayan a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, denle like. We had today Miss Jasmine Camacho-Quinn, who's going to represent in the Olympic, the 100-meter hurdles. So thank you very much. Suscriban al canal de YouTube, the Podium Podcast, Corti the Waiting Game.
Thank you.
Mami, me tienes seco pidiendo más Ovaltine, mirándola con el vasito pidiendo refill. Que si tú no me entiendes lo voy a resumir. Que te quiero romper el tablero a los Shaquille O'Neal. Ella meneando su pantalón apretado y yo sigo mirando para allá bien caripelao. Ese culo esta noche me lo robo encapuchao. Te vamos a hacer un atraco, el achao, el achao. Oye.